I want to tell you about a moment that tests almost every learner. The moment when you have been doing everything right, studying consistently, showing up every morning, putting in the work, and you cannot see the results. The vocabulary is not sticking the way you hoped. The speaking feels just as slow as 3 months ago. The gap between where you are and where you want to be does not seem to have closed at all. And the question arrives, is this working? Am I doing something wrong? Should I change the method? Try a different course? Study harder? Study differently? This moment, the moment of invisible progress, is one of the most important moments in any learning journey because what you do here determines everything. If you change the method every time you cannot see progress, you restart the accumulation. You throw away the work that was building beneath the surface and begin again from nothing. If you stay, if you trust the process, even when the results are invisible, the accumulation continues. And the results, when they arrive, are built on everything that happened in the invisible period. Progress is almost never visible while it is happening. It becomes visible when it has been building long enough to break the surface. Believe in the process. Today's story is about a young man named Saif. Saif did everything right and then stopped believing in it until someone helped him see what was actually happening. This is his story. Meet Saif. Saif was 24 years old. He worked as a junior accountant at a small auditing firm. He was detail-oriented and careful. Numbers made sense to him. He liked the clarity of things that could be verified. He had been studying English for 5 months. Every morning, 25 minutes before work, a structured course, vocabulary lists, grammar exercises, short listening clips. He had not missed a single morning in 5 months, 150 sessions, not one skipped. But at month 5, he sat at his desk one Sunday and felt something he had not felt in the first months. Doubt. He was not sure the studying was working. His reading was slightly faster. He admitted that. But his speaking felt identical to month 1. His listening comprehension at natural speed was still significantly behind where he wanted it. His vocabulary, though he had reviewed hundreds of words, did not feel naturally available in real situations. 5 months of work. The results felt thin. He opened his notebook and wrote a question. He wrote, "Is this working? Am I wasting my time?" He sat with the question for the whole morning. That afternoon, he called his older brother Tariq, a man who had spent years building skills through long, slow, often invisible processes. What Tariq said. Tariq was 31 years old. He was an engineer. He had spent 7 years building his expertise, 3 in university and 4 in practice, doing work that felt routine and unremarkable for most of that time before it suddenly, seemingly overnight, became genuinely excellent. He understood the invisible progress feeling deeply. He listened to Saif describe the 5 months, the consistency, the doubt, the thin results. Then he said, "Can I ask you something? When you are doing your 25 minutes in the morning, does it feel like things are going in?" Saif thought about it. "Some mornings, yes," he said. "Some mornings it feels like water off glass. It goes in one way and out the other." "That is normal," said Tariq. "That is not a sign the process is failing. That is what learning looks like from the inside," he continued. "When I was in my 3rd year of engineering practice, I had the same feeling. 2 years of work, and I could not see the competence I was building. I just saw the tasks I still could not do, as well as the senior engineers. What I could not see was how much I now knew that I had not known before, because the knowing felt ordinary, not like achievement." Saif listened. "The progress you cannot see," said Tariq, "is the most real kind because it is being integrated, becoming part of you, not sitting on the surface where you can measure it, being absorbed into how you think and hear and process. That takes time, and it is invisible while it is happening." He paused. "Trust the process. You have been consistent for 5 months. That is rare. That is valuable. Do not throw it away because you cannot see it yet." Lesson 1. What was actually happening that evening, Saif went back to his notebook. He wanted to test Tariq's claim, not just accept it on faith, actually look for the evidence. He thought about month one, about the first week of the course, about what his English had been like then. He tried to remember the specific feeling of month one listening exercises, how much he had understood. He opened the course and found a lesson from week one, a listening clip he had done 5 months ago. He played it. He followed it completely, without effort, without pausing. In month one, he had understood approximately 60% of that clip and had needed to replay it twice. Today, 100%. First listen, no replay. He sat with that. The listening had improved significantly. He had not noticed because he had been comparing himself to the goal, full fluency at natural speed, rather than to where he had started. He went further. He found a vocabulary exercise from month one, words he had struggled with then. He knew all of them now, automatically, without needing to think. He wrote in his notebook, tested month one content, comprehension, 60% then, 100% now. Vocabulary that was difficult then, automatic now. The progress was happening. I just was not looking in the right direction to see it. He looked at the question he had written earlier. Is this working? He crossed it out. He wrote beneath it, yes, I just could not see it from inside. Daily English sentences, repeat after me. The progress is real even when I cannot see it from inside. I test old content. I discover how far I have already come. Month one versus month five, completely different person. I was comparing myself to the goal, not to where I started. Trust the process. It is working even when invisible. 100% comprehension on the month one clip. That is 5 months of work. I cross out the doubt. I write, yes, it is working. Lesson 2, the invisible period. 2 weeks after his conversation with Tariq, Saif started thinking about the invisible period differently, not as dead time, not as failure to progress, as underground work. He thought about a tree in winter. From the outside, nothing seems to be happening. The branches are bare, no leaves, no growth visible. But underground, the root system is expanding, deepening, building the foundation for what will emerge in spring. The tree does not stop during winter. It works differently, invisibly, below the surface. His English was doing the same thing. The vocabulary he was reviewing was not yet available on the surface, not yet coming naturally in real situations, but it was being woven into his brain's network, building connections, finding its place in the system that would eventually make it automatic. The listening comprehension that still felt slow in real conversations was being calibrated. His brain was adjusting to the patterns and rhythms of English, work that happened below the conscious level. The process was not visible, but it was real. He started a new section in his notebook. He called it Underground Work. Every evening, one line about what he had studied that day. Not to measure progress, just to acknowledge the work. To say, this was added to the underground system today. Week 1 of the underground work section, 14 entries. Week 2, 14 more. Quiet, cumulative, building. He wrote, the invisible period is not empty. It is the most important period. The root system is growing. The spring will come. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. The invisible period is not empty. It is underground work. My brain is building connections I cannot yet see or feel. The root system is growing. Spring will come. I acknowledge the underground work every evening. One line. The process is not visible, but it is completely real. I trust what is happening below the surface. Every session adds something, even when I cannot feel it being added. Lesson 3. When spring came. Month 8, 3 months after Saif had almost stopped trusting the process. He was in a meeting at work, a brief one. His manager was introducing some changes to the reporting format. She had pulled an English template from an international accounting standards document and was walking the team through it. The document was on the screen. Dense professional English, the kind Saif had found almost impenetrable in month 1. He was reading it as his manager spoke. He was keeping up, not just keeping up. He was ahead of her explanation. He was reading the next section while she was explaining the current one. He understood the technical English vocabulary. He followed the logic without stopping. He sat very still for a moment. 6 months ago, he would have understood fragments of that document. He would have needed to read it multiple times. He would have asked his manager to slow down. Today, it was simply readable. Not exciting, not dramatic, just readable, normal, something he could do. That was the spring. Not a dramatic transformation, not a moment of sudden fluency. Just a day when something that had been difficult was now ordinary, when the underground work broke the surface and appeared as normal capability. He wrote in his notebook that evening, "Spring came today." The international document in the meeting, I read it as she spoke. It was just readable, no struggle. That was 5 months of underground work becoming visible. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. Spring comes quietly. Capability appears as ordinary. The document was readable, no struggle. Underground work became surface. 8 months of process produced this ordinary Tuesday morning. The dramatic transformation I was waiting for came as a normal working day. Process results do not announce themselves, they just work. I notice what is now easy that was once hard. That is the measurement. Trust produces this, not overnight, in 8 months of quiet work. Lesson 4. 1 year. Believing produced. This 1 year after his first session, Saif sat at his desk. His firm had recently begun working with an international client. Quarterly reports needed to go to the client's headquarters in another country. In English. Professional accounting English. His manager had asked him to draft the first one. Not review. Draft. Saif sat with the blank document. He thought about the question he had written at month 5. Is this working? Am I wasting my time? He thought about nearly stopping, about the invisible period, about Tariq's advice to trust the process. He thought about spring, about the readable document, about what 1 year of consistent, trusted process had actually built. He began typing. The draft took 2 hours. It was not his final version. His manager would review and refine. But when he sent it to his manager with a note saying, "First draft ready for your review," he felt something solid. His manager replied within the hour. She wrote, "This is a strong first draft. Surprisingly little to change." Well done. Surprisingly little to change. Saif read that line 3 times. He thought about 150 sessions in 5 months, about the doubt, about the underground work, about the spring, about 1 year of believing in the process when the process was invisible. He wrote in his notebook, Year 1, first international report drafted. Manager, surprisingly little to change. This is what trusting the process for 1 year produces. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. 1 year. First international report drafted. Strong first draft. Surprisingly little to change. 1 year of process produced that. I nearly stopped at month 5. I'm glad I did not. Trust the process. It produces results you cannot see while they are building. 1 year of consistency built what doubt would have destroyed. The process worked. It works. I will keep trusting it. 1 year. Believe in the process. This is where it leads. Final words. Trust what you cannot see. Saif's story is simple. He was doing everything right. 5 months of perfect consistency, and he could not see the results. He almost stopped. His brother helped him look in the right direction, not at the distance to the goal, at the distance from the start. And Saif saw. Month 1 content versus month 5 capability. The progress was there. He had just been measuring wrong. He trusted the process through the invisible period. Month 8, the spring, the readable document. Month 12, a strong international report draft, produced not by talent, not by a dramatic breakthrough, by 1 year of consistent process, trusted through the invisible months. Maybe you are in the invisible period right now. Maybe you have been studying consistently and the results feel thin. The progress feels absent. The question is forming. Is this working? I want to say one thing. Test the month one content. Go back to the beginning of your course or your vocabulary list or your earliest English writing. Look at it, engage with it, and notice what is different. Because I promise you, something is different. Even if you cannot feel it in the forward direction, it is visible in the backward one. The process is working underground, invisibly, building the root system that will eventually break the surface. Trust it, keep going. Spring is coming. See you in the next one. Stay calm, stay consistent, and believe in the process.